Chapter 2, Do We Really Have a Destiny? Life's Loaded Question. Two quotes I open with, one from Jack London, novelist, "You can't wait for inspiration, you have to go after it with a club." And the second from Yogi Berra, baseball legend, "If you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else." The issue of destiny is a loaded question. Nearly everyone wants to believe in the concept. Atheists may believe that there's no God, no purpose, and no point to life, but it's pretty tough living that philosophy out in the day-to-day trenches. The idea of destiny gives us a reason to go on, motivation that our lives matter beyond PTA meetings, job reviews, and visits to the local coffee shop. The Christian tradition teaches that God has a purpose and a plan for our lives. Because of the sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross, we have a higher calling and a guide to help us navigate our way through this world and the next. And Christians have certainly run with a destiny theme. Pastors use the word in their sermon and book titles, and if you look up Christian conferences, you'll be amazed at how many use destiny in their title. Their destiny conferences, living out your destiny conferences, discovering your destiny conferences, weekend of destiny conferences, women of destiny conferences, affecting destiny conferences, spring forth destiny conferences, and I could go on and on. Don't believe me? Just go online and search destiny conference. Non-Christian traditions are no different. I was teaching in India recently and met a group of Hindu scholars discussing their own views about destiny. As I write this, the TV news is reporting the thousands of spiritualists and New Agers meeting at Stonehenge to welcome the summer solstice. The topic of discussion? What does Stonehenge have to do with our destiny? Religious or not, most people want to believe they have a purpose for living and would find it enormously difficult to go on without that knowledge. So the question remains, do we have a destiny, and is it possible to discover it? I seriously doubt if we have a locked down, concrete, unchanging destiny we were born to accomplish. Destiny isn't a task. It's not an endpoint. It's not something you can check off on a to-do list. In fact, that's where most people go wrong and why so many attend destiny conferences, buy destiny books, and hear famous teachers speak on finding their destiny, and why so many end up frustrated and unhappy. Your destiny is a moving target. An unexpected divorce doesn't derail your destiny. The soldier who lost his legs in battle hasn't lost his destiny. Bankruptcy can't undermine your destiny. Your destiny is a moving target, and that's why I prefer to use the word purpose, or as you've seen, you're one big thing. Your purpose is bigger than any obstacle like physical limitations, financial circumstances, being fired, or other failures. Nothing can change the fact that you have a unique reason for being here, and there's still time for it to play out. Purpose can be revealed in three important ways. First, in my experience, a handful of people have known it all their lives. From a young age, it seems they've always known what they were born to accomplish and have pursued it with passion. I've met writers who have remarkable manuscripts they wrote as children, pastors who at 8 years old stood on stools to preach to other kids in the neighborhood, and we've all met the whiz kid who ran his lemonade stand like it was Walmart while we stood by helpless with our cardboard box and plastic cups. You're not one of those people because you're reading this book. They never think about discovering their purpose because it's all they've ever known. It's easy to be envious of these men and women because they've spent their lives focusing on the calling and not having to anguish over which calling it might be. A second group discovers their one big thing in a moment of epiphany. Dictionary.com defines epiphany as a sudden intuitive perception of or insight into the reality or essential meaning of something, usually initiated by some simple, homely, or commonplace occurrence or experience. In other words, a moment of revelation. The clouds part, the sun shines, and the angelic choir sings. I've heard thousands of stories of people who have experienced this kind of moment, usually while in the act of doing something. I've discovered that most people experience that insight in the process of action. Few one big thing revelations come while sitting on the sofa watching The Simpsons. That's not to say it couldn't happen. By the way, when I say revelation, I'm not necessarily referring to some mystical, spooky, or spiritual experience. Very often, a revelation is simply putting the pieces together. It's that moment when everything about your life makes sense, and you suddenly see what you're supposed to be doing. It's the aha or eureka moment. Keep in mind that revelations come in all sizes and relate to all kinds of issues, most of which are not related to your one big thing. I had a minor revelation this morning working on this book. I was unhappy with a section of the manuscript, but when I cut and pasted the section into another chapter, it suddenly all made sense. A chapter that I'd been struggling with now works, and I only realized it the moment I hit paste and saw the section in context. Hopefully, these moments happen to you all the time. The right person joins your team at the office, and suddenly you're firing on all cylinders. Your child has a breakthrough in school that you never expected. You finally get it after staying up late to research the new project at work. Sitting in church, the pastor makes a statement that completely changes the way you look at a particular issue. Moving a single chair in your living room transforms the look and feel of your home. You finally understand what makes your spouse tick. Okay, that was a stretch. These are important and sometimes can make or break careers and relationships, but don't get them confused with the really big revelation of what you were born to accomplish. That moment when you discover your one big thing. Finally, the third and largest group in my experience are the rest of us who discover our one big thing through a much longer and progressive experience. Rather than that explosive aha moment, we find bits and pieces along the trail, take a few wrong turns in the process, and eventually start piecing together the puzzle of our lives. This is the team I'm on, and chances are this is you as well. I would have loved to have discovered my one thing as a young man and, like those leaders in the portrait gallery at the Huntington Library, pursued it with passion, conviction, and intention. But because I had no encouragement, training, or coaching, I wandered down many blind alleys and spent many years wondering if there was any purpose at all. The list of things I was pursuing grew longer and longer, and trust me, I was serious about each one. I thought about being a piano player and made extra money in college playing at restaurants and clubs around town. I wanted to be an astronaut and found a local congressman to vouch for my application to the Air Force Academy. Then I wanted to be an athlete and received multiple college sports scholarships. I did a short stint doing some pretty amateurish magic shows. I even have a drawer full of unproduced screenplays and an unpublished novel. So these and other attempts weren't passing fancies. I was committed, but never fulfilled. As a result, the more I searched, the more frustrated I became. It took me years before I started noticing the connections, honestly facing up to what I was actually good at doing versus what I wanted to do, and then finally embracing the way I was wired. Like picking up signs on a trail, things eventually began to make sense. Destiny wants to be pursued. Is there such a thing as destiny? I think so, but we spent too much time looking to the idea of destiny as a quick fix, a get-rich scheme, or a stopping point. We think we'll attend a conference and our destiny will be revealed to us during a workshop or seminar. We hope that it will descend out of the sky or someone will reveal it to us for only a $49 conference fee. Destiny wants to be pursued. It wants to be discovered. Why? Because it's in the journey we learn to understand and value what it means. Destiny is not a matter of chance, but a matter of choice. It's not a thing to be waited for. It's a thing to be achieved. William Jennings Bryan, politician. Sometimes I meet people who always knew their one big thing, and you know what they struggle with? I wonder if. They wonder what their life might have been like had they pursued another path or made another decision. They know they're doing exactly what they should be doing and are perfectly satisfied, but late at night when nobody's watching, they fantasize about something else they might have done. The successful Broadway singer wonders what it would have been like teaching music in high school. The high-powered CEO wonders what it would have been like to run a small bookstore. The powerful politician thinks about the days when she was interning at that social service agency downtown. But you and I know better. We who have tried all those things, hit the dead ends, and slammed against our share of walls, don't fantasize about other options because we've already experienced the obstacles. As we close in on our one big thing, we can focus, undistracted what might have been because we already know what was. Quote, "What are your passions? Do you hide them under a bushel? Instead, tell the world that you love cooking, hockey, NASCAR, or whatever it is, because pursuing your passions makes you more interesting, and interesting people are enchanting." Guy Kawasaki, author of Enchantment, The Art of Changing Hearts, Minds, and Actions. We have a destiny. We have a purpose. We have one important thing, but it only comes with coaxing, work, and action. You're here because you haven't given up. You are determined to find the answer. That determination alone may make the biggest difference.